What's up, everybody? Welcome into another episode of Bulls Latest. Your host, Matt Johnson here. I want to kick off today's show looking at an all-time NBA defensive first team and the Chicago Bulls and members of this organization that are a part of that and kind of go through each guy. This is a huge honor in terms of being able to put your prowess on display with some of the NBA's greatest names. The making of an NBA All-Star team and a defensive first team is an incredible individual accomplishment, especially when considering only 5 players are awarded with that honor each year. This list puts a spotlight on the Bulls, who have earned first team selections throughout Chicago's 60 seasons here. And I want to kind of start it off with none other than Michael Jordan. In 1988 through 1993, he received this honor, and then from 96 through 1998, he also was on this list. In addition to leading the league in scoring 10 times over the course of his 15-year career, Jordan made 9 all-defensive first teams and was a 3-time steals champion. Jordan averaged at least 2.1 steals per game through each of his first 9 years as a pro, and he swatted at least 1 shot a night on 4 different occasions, giving him career averages of 2.3 steals per game and just under 1 block per game. So when you look at Jordan's career as a whole, obviously one of the best perennial players of all time. I think he is still at the top of Mount Rushmore today. In 1987-88, Jordan paced the NBA in scoring, putting a clip of 35 points a game out there, and steals with a career-high 3.2 steals per game in the 87-88 campaign to earn All-Star, All-NBA First Team, and All-Defensive First Team selections while being named League MVP and the Defensive Player of the Year at just the age of 24 there. He also received the Kia Defensive Player of the Year vote 9 times, finishing top 5 in the race in 6 of those campaigns. So just a completely decorated career for Michael Jordan. Needless to say, he is one of the more special athletes, not only to come through Chicago, but in all of sports, really all over the world. He's a global phenom still today. So next on that list, none other than Scottie Pippen. He received this honor from 1992 through 1998. Pippen earned 7 consecutive all-defensive first-team honors from 92 to 98. Over that span, he averaged 20.3 points per game, 7.3 rebounds a game, 5.9 assists per game to go along with 2.2 steals a game, and just under 1 block per game across 517 regular season appearances. Diving into some of the other numbers with Scottie here on this list, he led the NBA in steals at 2.9 steals a night in 94-95 when he tallied at least 1 swipe in all but 3 of his 79 outings that year and had 16 games of 5 or more, which is really incredible when you look at how well-rounded this guy's game was. Pippen finished top 10 in the Kia Defensive Player of the Year voting on 7 occasions throughout his 12 years in Chicago, placing second in back-to-back seasons in 95 and 96, and he owns 3 of the top 10 single-season steals totals in Bulls franchise history, with the 232 he amassed in 94-95, the 4th most all time. So that's a heck of a mark there for a player who really is seen as the Robin to the Batman of Michael Jordan throughout all those years. So he is a very decorated, Hall of Fame worthy player. I mean, what a special guy Scottie Pippen became for the Chicago Bulls franchise. Next on the list, we have Jerry Sloan. Now, this was well before my time. He received this honor in 1969, 1972, and then the 74 and 75 campaign before his legendary Hall of Fame coaching career, which is kind of what I remember from the back half of his basketball life. Jerry Sloan made a living as a tough-nosed defender with the Bulls from 1966 all the way through 1976. He was a 2-time All-Star and a 6-time All-Defensive member, making 4 first-team appearances during that span, despite steals not being counted as an official stat until the 1973-74 campaign. Sloan finished with a career average of 2.2 steals per game, tallying 2.4 steals per game in 1974 and 2.2 steals per game in 1975. Sloan also put up 14 points a game, 7.5 rebounds a game, and 2.5 assists per game to go along with 2.2 steals per game in 755 contests over the course of his 11-year career there. So a decorated career for him. Jerry Sloan is definitely one of the more remembered, more team first guys when it comes to a Chicago Bull, that's for sure. Next is a guy I talked about in yesterday's episode, and the Bulls are going to honor him in November. I'm super excited about that. But Norm Van Leer, in 1974 and then 76 through 77, he received this honor. Van Leer spent 2.5 years with the Cincinnati Royals before being traded to the Bulls midway through the 71-72 campaign. He racked up 3 straight second-team all-defensive awards from 1971 to 73, earning his first all-defensive first-team selection and his lone All-NBA second-team honor for his efforts in 1974. This guy averaged 2 steals per game for 3 consecutive seasons through 74 and 76, then swiped at least 1.1 steals a game in each of his final 3 years in the NBA. Overall, in his 10 seasons as a pro, he was a 3-time All-Star and an 8-time All-Defensive member. So a very decorated part of his game there was the defensive side. Norm Van Leer was widely remembered for his hustle and his hard-nosed effort on that side of the floor. Now, one of my favorites, a couple of my favorites coming up here, the last 3 guys on this list, starting with Joakim Noah. This is the guy I grew up watching, in 2013 and 2014. He earned this honor on this all-defensive first team. Noah enjoyed an impressive 9-year run in Chicago from 07 to 16, compiling averages of 9.3 points a game to go along with 9.4 rebounds a game, 3 assists per game, and just under a steal per game, all while blocking 1.4 shots a night over 572 appearances. With this Chicago team, he earned back-to-back all-defensive first-team honors and all-star nods in 2013 and 2014, additionally being named to his lone All-NBA first team while winning the Kia Defensive Player of the Year trophy in 2014. That was a special year for Joakim, 2014. That was a really solid team all around. If Derrick Rose had stayed healthy that whole season, who knows what could have happened. Noah received Defensive Player of the Year votes on 5 different occasions and MVP votes twice, finishing 4th in 2013-2014 after averaging a career-high 12.6 points a game to go along with 11.3 rebounds a game and 5.4 assists per game across 80 contests there. So that was just a special year all around. Those couple of years for Joakim were ones that he really turned into a leader for this group, and he really put his face at the front of this franchise. And I think he is a very special commodity when it comes to what Bulls fans remember about him, especially my generation growing up there in that Derrick Rose era. Joakim was the guy who brought the energy to this ball club night in and night out. Next on the list, you got Dennis Rodman. He earned this honor in 96. Rodman won several defensive accolades during his 14-year career, including 2 Kia Defensive Player of the Year trophies and 8 all-defensive selections in 3 seasons with the Bulls. He led the NBA in rebounding each year and finished top 7 in Defensive Player of the Year voting in 96 to 98. In the 95-96 campaign, Rodman averaged 5.5 points a game to go along with 14.9 rebounds a game, accompanied by 2.5 assists and just under a steal a night, marking 5 straight years in which he paced the league in offensive, defensive, and total rebounding. The Worm was quite the commodity when it came to that side of the floor, where it's really the identity of the hard-nosed aspect of the Chicago Bulls. This guy was a badass, man. He really played the game hard, and he showed that night in and night out. And it's certainly a fan favorite here in Chicago. I know I'm a big fan of Dennis Rodman, what he brought to the table with his game in the NBA. And then finally, rounding out this list, we have Alex Caruso in 2023, the most recent member of this list. He established himself as one of the most versatile and rugged defenders in today's NBA, still is. Each of his first 2 career all-defensive selections came during his time in Chicago from 2021 to 2024. He earned first-team honors in 2022-23, had a heck of a year that year. This was a guy who, before the Bulls kind of tampered off into, mediocrity when it comes to their record, he was pacing that Bulls team with Lonzo Ball before Lonzo got hurt, and Caruso was just such a special player on that group, with that group, and I think that it's really a shame that he found his way out of Chicago, ultimately winning an NBA championship last year in Oklahoma City, though. Could not feel better for him with those efforts that he puts in, year out on the defensive side of the floor. So I know it's a longer segment to start this show, but I thought that those are some of the look at the all-time greats and the Bulls that were on that list. it kind of speaks to where they stand out overall in the game today. So definitely an interesting note there. I wanted to talk a little bit about a report that came out on Jonathan Kuminga, and his agent had spoken to ESPN briefly. This was reported yesterday, but Kuminga's agent, Aaron Turner, has told ESPN that Kuminga is prepared to take the $7.9 million qualifying offer unless Golden State improves its offers. If this pulls through, I've talked about this a ton, really dating back to May. I think Kuminga to the Bulls next summer becomes a real shot. I think the Bulls would put a good amount of capital in investing in this player. I think he makes a ton of sense for the timeline the Bulls are on. He's a young, talented player. I think his role would drastically improve on this Bulls team, and I think Billy Donovan would have a field day with him. So, and what he could do, plugging him into different lineups and using him, and how versatile this player can be. If he improves his scoring touch this next season while playing under that qualifying offer in Golden State, I think it's a no-brainer. You got to go after this guy if you're the Chicago Bulls. So just wanted to touch on that briefly, as his agent had said that to ESPN. CBS Sports, and I wanted to kind of go over this because it's another major media outlet that has rolled out its season preview for the Chicago Bulls. Now, it's a hefty one, so I won't go through all the details with you guys. You can catch that on CBS Sports website in the Bulls season preview. Overall, though, what I took away from it is that they're more optimistic than I've seen a national network take on the Bulls, season in the upcoming months here in recent years. I think this is one of the more positive spins I've seen on this organization in some time. One note said, quote, "This is by far the best I've felt about the Bulls since the first half of the 2021-22 season," and then also giving praise to the Noah Essenga draft pick. He's gathering lots of optimism in NBA circles around many major sports media companies. CBS Sports, the most recent one that I've seen here, but Noah Essenga is a bright spot in terms of what the potential is for this player and where this organization could head, with him being a big part of the future. So I think it's a good sign. You see a network like this, and CBS Sports kind of giving the Bulls the benefit of the doubt and what they're going to do coming up this year. I certainly am optimistic. I'm not sure what to expect in terms of the win-loss record, as it's a long season and there's a lot of moving parts on this Bulls team. But we'll have to certainly keep an eye on what the scope is for this Bulls team among other national articles here and different season previews that are thrown out there. I know ESPN hasn't necessarily given the Bulls quite the benefit of the doubt there, but it's good to see that there are some mixed opinions out there in terms of what the Bulls could be coming up here. And then finally, just one last news note. The NBA news was a little shorter on today's show, but guard Dennis Smith Jr. has agreed to a one-year deal to return to the Dallas Mavericks. Other than that, kind of quiet in NBA circles in recent days. A lot of just watching what the remaining restricted free agents are going to do, most notably Jonathan Kuminga. I know that's really of intrigue to Bulls fans just to see what his future holds, and what he could be looking to do next summer. Other than that, though, we got the preseason kicking off, and we're right there. It's coming right around the corner here. We're finally going to have basketball rolling out, and actual gameplay to look at and to analyze and to recap. So I'm excited for that. Overall, though, I want to thank you guys for joining me on another episode of Bulls Latest today, and we will see you guys tomorrow.